Today we will discuss the topic collisions. This question carries 8 marks in IPE. This question belongs to work energy and power lesson, junior intermediate. First we have to write the definition of collisions. The definition is the strongest interaction between two objects is called collisions. Then you have to write the types of collisions. There are two types of collisions. One is elastic collision and another one is inelastic collision. Here give a brief information about these types of collisions. First one is elastic collision. The collision in which both momentum and kinetic energy are conserved is called elastic collision. The example is the collision between two billiard balls. The second one is the inelastic collision. The collision in which the kinetic energy is not conserved here but momentum alone conserved is called inelastic collision. The collision between any two vehicles is the example for this kind of inelastic collision. So here we are discussing about only elastic collision. This question is about. Let us consider two objects A and B, masses of m1 and m2. u1, u2 are the initial velocities. They are moving in a straight line path. So they collide with each other at a point. Then they move after collision like this. So now we have to find the final velocities of these objects. This is v1, this is v2. So here we are applying the law of conservation of linear momentum. So according to this concept, the total momentum before collision is equals to the total momentum after collision. Now we can write an expression that is m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. So this is initial momentum of the bodies, this is final momentum of this body. So here we can write, we have to simplify this further, that is m1 u1. Now write this m1 in this side minus m1 v1 is equal to m2 v2 minus m2 u2. Now take common factor of m1 u1 minus v1 is equal to m2 into v2 minus u2. So this is equation number 1. Of course this is equation number 1. This is equation number 1a. Now according to kinetic energy, we have to write the initial kinetic energy is equal to final kinetic energy, that is half m1 u1 square plus half m2 u2 square is equal to half m1 v1 square plus half m2 v2 square. Again simplify this equation, that is half m1 u1 square. Now write this m1 this side, it is half minus half m1 v1 square is equal to half m2 v2 square minus half m2 u2 square. I have written this term at right hand side. Now take a common, that is half m1 u1 square minus v1 square is equal to half m2 v2 square minus u2 square. Now cancel half and half, then the equation becomes m1 u1 square minus v1 square is equal to m2 v2 square minus u2 square. This is equation number 2. This is equation 1. This is equation 1a. Now we have to simplify this equation further. So divide equation 2 by equation 1a, that is m1 u1 square minus v1 square is equal to m2 into v2 square minus u2 square. This is divided by equation 1a. This is m1 into u1 minus v1. This is m2 into v2 minus u2. So that is m1 into u1 minus v1 divided by m2 v2 minus u2. Then m1 gets cancelled, m2 gets cancelled. Now u1 square minus v1 square divided by u1 minus v1 is equal to v2 square minus u2 square divided by v2 minus u2. Then this is looks like a square minus b square. So we can write it as a plus b into a minus b. So like that, u1 plus v1 into u1 minus v1. So that is u1 plus v1 into u1 minus v1 divided by u1 minus v1 in the denominator. That is equal to, this is v2 u2. So v2 plus u2 into v2 minus u2 divided by v2 minus u2. So here u1 minus v1 gets cancelled, v2 minus u2 and v2 minus u2 gets cancelled. Then the remaining terms are u1 plus v1 is equal to v2 plus u2. Now from this expression write v2 is equal to u1 plus v1 then minus u2. This is equation number 3. Then another one is v1. So from this equation v1 is equal to v2 plus u2 minus u1. This is equation number 4. By substituting equation 3, this equation 3 in equation 1, we get the final velocity v1, and by substituting this v1 in equation number 1, we get the final velocity of v2. Now put equation 3 in equation 1. So the equation 1 is, this is the equation 1, m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. This is equation number 1. So now substitute equation 3. So m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2. We have to put this term instead of v2, that is u1 plus v1 minus u2. Then m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 u1 plus m2 v1 minus m2 u2. Now we have to find the value v1 here, the final velocity of first body, that is v1. So for that, write m1 u1 this as it is. Then you have to write this term here. This will be minus m2 u1, then plus write this m2 u2 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v1. So here take common of u1, that is m1 minus m2 into u1 plus, this is same terms, that's why 2m2 u2 is equal to m1 plus m2 of v1. Now write v1. v1 is equal to m1 minus m2 u1 by m1 plus m2, this is 1 m1 plus m2 plus 2 m2 u2 by m1 plus m2. This is the equation of the second body, that means the final equation of the first body. Now we have to put this equation 4 in equation 1. By solving we can get the final velocity of the second body. So that is m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1. Now write v1. This v1 is equal to v2 plus u2 minus u1. v2 plus u2 minus u1, then plus the last term of equation number 1 is m2 v2. This is m2 v2. Now solve this. m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v2 plus m1 u2 minus m1 u1 plus m2 v2. Now we have to find this v2 value, this term. So keep this term in this side and transfer remaining terms in towards left hand side. So first write m1 u1, then write this term plus m1 u1, then write plus m2 u2, then this is minus m1 u2. This term I have written at left side is equal to m1 v2 plus m2 v2. Then m1 u1 gives 2m1 u1 plus this gives m2 minus m1 into u2 is equal to m1 plus m2 into v2. Now write V2 is equal to 2m1 u1 by this m1 plus m2 plus m2 minus m1 into u2 by m1 plus m2. This is the final answer of this question. You have to prove these two expressions very clearly, then you will get 8 marks in your examination. You have to write all these definitions and a simple explanation with this diagram. Okay, so this is very simple method, so you have to follow this and practice this problem, and definitely you will get maximum marks in your examination. Okay, thank you.